All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at something that affects all of us, data security. And you said in a pretty interesting document about how data protection is changing. And, we're not just talking about, like, losing a few files anymore. This is some serious stuff. Like, it can cost organizations millions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the average data breach these days costs $4.45 million. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. We live in a world where data is gold, and protecting it is really complex.
Yeah, $4.45 million. That's like winning the lottery,
Hmm.
but in reverse. But all kidding aside, I think what really stood out to me in the document is how the whole landscape of data security has shifted. Like, it's not just about backing things up anymore, right?
No, exactly. We've kind of entered this new era of threats. Just think about it. User errors, system failures, cyberattacks, and then this whole maze of compliance regulations. It's enough to make your head spin. Traditional backup solutions, they were really designed for simpler times when, maybe your biggest worry was accidentally deleting a file or like a hard drive crashing.
Yeah, like that time I accidentally deleted my entire thesis the night before it was due. Good times. But yeah, those are the days. Now you got ransomware, hiding in the shadows, potentially like malicious insiders, and enough regulations to fill an entire library. So how do we even begin to tackle this?
Well, that's where a company like StoneFly comes in. They've really taken a comprehensive approach to data security. They offer solutions that go beyond, just simple backup and recovery. And what I think is so fascinating about their strategy is that they really recognize that data security, it's a multifaceted challenge. It's not just about the technology. It's about having a holistic plan that covers, all the bases.
Holistic plan, I like that. So walk me through this a little bit. When we say beyond backup, what does that actually mean in the StoneFly world?
Okay, so think of it this way. Traditional backup, it was like locking your front door. It offered some basic protection, but a determined intruder, they could still find a way in, right? StoneFly, they take more of like a layered approach to security. It's like adding extra locks and an alarm system and maybe even a guard dog, just for good measure.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here. So what are some of these extra layers that StoneFly brings to the table?
Well, data encryption is a big one. So they make sure that your data is scrambled in a way that's unreadable to anybody who's not authorized to see it. It's kind of like turning it into a secret code. And then there's something called immutability, which means that the data can't be altered or deleted, even by like administrators. So it's like having this read-only copy that's completely tamper-proof.
So even if someone manages to like breach your defenses, they can't hold your data hostage or like mess with your backups. That's a pretty powerful defense mechanism.
It is, especially when you consider like the rise of ransomware attacks, because ransomware attackers, they often try to encrypt your backups as well, which makes them totally useless. But StoneFly's approach, it makes that much harder for them to actually succeed.
So it's like they're anticipating the attacker's moves, always staying one step ahead, kind of giving me chess grandmaster vibes here.
Exactly. They're not just reacting to threats, they're actively anticipating and mitigating them. And that's really where their expertise shines. It's not just about selling software. They really partner with their clients to develop a tailored strategy that meets their specific needs.
Okay, I'm really intrigued by this approach. It sounds like they're thinking about data security from like every angle. But tell me, is it all about, fancy algorithms and software? Or is there like a human element involved as well?
That's a crucial point. StoneFly understands that technology alone isn't enough, so they also recognize the importance of human expertise, and they offer 24/7 monitoring and response services. It's like having this team of security specialists who are constantly watching over your data, and they're ready to act if anything suspicious is detected.
Wow, so it's like having your own personal cybersecurity SWAT team. That's a huge relief, especially for organizations that might not have the resources for a full-fledged security operations center.
Yeah, exactly. It's like StoneFly acts as an extension of your own security team. They're providing the expertise and the manpower to make sure that your data is protected around the clock.
All right, so we've talked about strategy, technology, expertise, but let's get down to brass tacks here. Does this stuff actually work in the real world? Are there any like real-world examples of StoneFly's solutions in action?
Absolutely. StoneFly has a proven track record of helping organizations across various industries protect their data and recover from even the most sophisticated attacks. For example, they helped a financial services company restore its systems and data in just a few hours after a major ransomware attack. And without StoneFly's solutions, that company could have faced weeks, if not months, of downtime and potentially devastating financial losses.
Okay, that's impressive. So it sounds like StoneFly really has their finger on the pulse. of modern data security. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's been on my mind. You mentioned StoneFly's holistic approach and their focus on going beyond backup. What does that actually look like in practice? Can you give me a specific example of how StoneFly's solutions work together to provide this kind of comprehensive protection?
Sure. Let's say you're concerned about insider threats, which is a growing concern for a lot of organizations these days. StoneFly offers a tool called Smart Protect, and it provides deep insights into your data environment. So think of it like a security camera for your data. It's constantly monitoring who's accessing what, when, and from where.
So it's not just about preventing attacks from the inside. It's also about understanding what's happening within your own organization, kind of like having a security guard who knows everyone's face and can spot unusual activity.
Exactly. StoneFly Smart Protect. It can track user activity, monitor data access patterns, and even alert you if someone is trying to download an unusually large amount of information or access files they shouldn't be looking at.
So it's like having a virtual watchdog for your data, always on the lookout for anything suspicious. That's reassuring. But let's be honest, most of us aren't cybersecurity experts. Is this something that requires like a PhD in computer science to understand?
Not at all. StoneFly has designed their solutions to be very user-friendly. They provide, clear, actionable insights that anyone can understand, regardless of their technical background, so you don't need to be like a coding whiz to get the most out of StoneFly's tools.
That's a relief. I was about to reach for my cybersecurity dictionary. But seriously, this highlights a really crucial point. Data security is everyone's responsibility, not just the IT departments.
I couldn't agree more. We all have a role to play in protecting sensitive information, whether it's, creating strong passwords, being cautious about phishing emails, or advocating for better security practices within our organizations.
Speaking of organizations, I'm curious about how StoneFly helps businesses navigate this ever-changing world of compliance requirements, all those regulations we talked about earlier. It seems like a real minefield out there.
It can be, but that's another area where StoneFly really excels. They understand that meeting compliance requirements, it's essential for many businesses, and their solutions are designed to make this process as smooth and painless as possible.
So they don't just protect your data, they also help you prove that you're handling it responsibly. That must be a huge weight off the shoulders of a lot of businesses.
Absolutely. StoneFly provides comprehensive audit trails and reporting features that make it really easy to demonstrate compliance and, avoid those hefty fines that can come with non-compliance. So they really take the guesswork out of compliance, allowing businesses to focus on what they do best.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. Comprehensive solutions, proactive security, user-friendliness, and compliance expertise. It sounds like StoneFly really does have all the bases covered. But what about flexibility? Businesses come in all shapes and sizes with different needs and requirements. Can StoneFly's solutions adapt to these diverse environments?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes. StoneFly offers both on-premises and cloud solutions, which gives businesses the flexibility to choose the deployment model that best suits their needs. They understand that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to data security, and they've designed their solutions to be adaptable to a wide range of environments.
That was a lot of sense. It's like having a data security tailor who can create a custom-fit solution for your specific needs. But let's dive a little deeper into the technical side of things for a moment. I've been hearing a lot about ransomware attacks lately. They seem to be everywhere. How is StoneFly addressing this particular threat?
Yeah, ransomware is a huge concern right now, and it's only getting more sophisticated. But StoneFly is on top of it. They've developed a multi-layered approach to ransomware protection that combines cutting-edge technology with human expertise.
Okay, walk me through these layers. What exactly is StoneFly doing to combat ransomware?
Well, remember those concepts of encryption and immutability we discussed earlier? They play a really crucial role in ransomware protection by making your data unreadable to attackers and ensuring it can't be altered or deleted. StoneFly makes it significantly harder for ransomware to actually succeed.
So even if ransomware manages to sneak in, StoneFly can help minimize the damage and get you back up and running quickly.
Exactly. It's all about, reducing the impact of an attack, minimizing downtime, and ensuring business continuity. StoneFly solutions help you identify the last clean copy of your data so you can restore it quickly and efficiently.
Wow, that's incredible. It really highlights the importance of having a robust data security strategy in place. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's been on my mind. With all this talk about, sophisticated technology and corporate solutions, how can individuals take steps to protect their personal data? After all, we're all vulnerable to data breaches and cyber attacks, not just big companies.
That's an excellent question, and one that deserves its own deep dive. While we might not have access to the same enterprise-grade solutions as large organizations, there's still plenty of things we can do to safeguard our personal information.
Like what? Give us some tips. I know I could use a refresher course on personal data security.
Well, for starters, strong passwords are a must, and I mean truly strong passwords, not just password 123. Using a password manager can be a lifesaver here. It takes the pressure off of remembering dozens of complex passwords.
Good point. I'm definitely guilty of using the same password for multiple accounts sometimes. I know, bad habit.
We've all been there. Another important step is to be cautious about phishing emails and suspicious links. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't click on anything that looks even remotely fishy.
And what about backing up our data? That seems pretty crucial, especially if our devices get lost or stolen or, attacked by ransomware.
Absolutely. Regular backups are essential. And remember, the cloud isn't just for streaming music and storing photos. It can be a valuable tool for backing up important files and data. So consider using a reputable cloud storage provider to keep copies of your most valuable information.
This is all great advice. It's empowering to know that we can take control of our own data security, even without, fancy corporate solutions. But I have to ask, with the rapid pace of technological advancement, are we in a constant race against cybercriminals? Will there ever be a point where we can truly feel safe?
That's the million-dollar question. And while I can't predict the future, I can say that the cybersecurity landscape is always evolving. As new technologies emerge, so do new threats. It's a constant cat and mouse game.
So it's an ongoing journey, a constant process of learning, adapting, and staying one step ahead. Sounds like a lot of work, but I guess that's the price we pay for living in the digital age.
It can be, but it's also incredibly important work. And the more we understand about data security, the better equipped we'll be to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and our organizations. It's an investment in our collective digital future.
Well said. I think this deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening, both in terms of understanding the complexities of modern data security and the role that companies like StoneFly play in navigating this ever-changing landscape. But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the human element.
Yes. It's easy to get caught up in the technology, but ultimately, data security is about people. It's about protecting our privacy, our livelihoods, and our digital lives. It's about creating a safer and more secure digital world for everyone.
Exactly. And that brings me to a thought-provoking question for our listeners. How can we, as individuals and as a society, foster a culture of cybersecurity awareness and responsibility? It's clear that technology alone isn't enough. We need to start thinking about data security as a shared responsibility, a collective effort to protect what matters most. What do you think?
That's a fantastic point. It's like anything else, really. If we want to create a safer online world, we need to work together. Education is key. We need to empower people with the knowledge and tools to protect themselves. Think of it like teaching kids about stranger danger. But for the digital age...
And it's not just about technical skills, right? It's about awareness, critical thinking, and questioning what we see online. We need to develop that healthy skepticism.
Absolutely. It's about developing healthy digital habits. Just like we teach our kids about looking both ways before crossing the stroke, we need to be wary of suspicious emails, think twice before clicking on links, and be mindful of what information we share online.
It's almost like digital hygiene, right? Washing our hands, brushing our teeth. We need to develop those same habits for our digital lives. But instead of soap and toothpaste, we're armed with strong passwords, skepticism, and up-to-date software.
Precisely. And the good news is there are tons of resources available to help us do just that, from online courses to educational videos. Even just having conversations like this one can raise awareness and help us all become more savvy digital citizens.
Speaking of resources, StoneFly has a fantastic website with a wealth of information on data security. They've got blog posts, white papers, even webinars on all sorts of topics related to data protection. It's a great place to start if you're feeling overwhelmed or just want to learn more.
Definitely. StoneFly.com is a treasure trove of information. And don't forget, they have a team of experts who are always happy to answer questions and provide guidance. You can reach them at sales@stonefly.com.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include those links in the show notes. So to wrap things up, it sounds like we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the evolving threat landscape, the need for comprehensive data security solutions, and the role that companies like StoneFly play in safeguarding our information.
And let's not forget the importance of individual responsibility. And cultivating a culture of cybersecurity awareness, we all have a part to play in creating a safer online world.
Well said. This deep dive has been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure. Remember, data security is an ongoing journey, not a destination. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and together we can create a safer and more secure digital future.
And to all our amazing listeners out there, thank you for tuning in to the deep dive. We hope you found this episode informative and empowering. Remember, knowledge is power. And the more we know about data security, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the digital world with confidence. This deep dive was sponsored by StoneFly.com. Be sure to check out their website for more information on their innovative data security solutions. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep on learning.